It's another Thunder Thursday on News OK. I'm Mike Sherman, sports editor of the Oklahoman from the Oklahoma studios in downtown Oklahoma City. Thunder Thursday, joined by the whole gang. From my far left, beat writer Eric Horn. Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Columnist Jenny Carlson. Beat writer Anthony Slater. Columnist Barry Trammell. We're assessing the Thunder at the halfway point. Not quite there, but we'll be there by Friday night, late. 41 games, the halfway point in the NBA season. Let's hand out some grades. So, guys, I've given you the task. Pick a topic, pick a player, pick a coach, pick an issue, assign a grade. I kind of left it broad. Barry says too broad, but he does this every Saturday for college football season. So, Eric, I'm starting with you. Who you grading and what grade are you giving them?
I'm going to start with Russell Westbrook, the man of the last 24 hours. But despite the technicals he picked up last night, I'm going to give Russell a solid B+ for his start to the season. We've all seen the great offensive explosions he's had this year. He's been among the league leaders in triple doubles. He's left a little wanting on the defensive end in terms of taking some gambles. But, I mean, when you look at the positives of his defense, he's leading the league in steals, or he's among the leaders in the league per game in steals. So Russell Westbrook, solid B+ to start off our grades.
So the report card you sent home for Russell's parents, it's got a U for unsatisfactory on defense?
Yes. Oh, most certainly. Yeah.
Nice.
His defense has been
GPA
unsatisfactory.
down.
Yeah.
But, he leads the league in steals. You say that's a positive. I guess it isn't so much, but it might also be a negative. He's steal hunting, which can kind of screw up the rest of the defense.
Anybody got any qualms with that grade? Anybody want to appeal to the dean's office for a higher mark?
I think
probably.
that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, he's a top 5 player in the league, so.
Bar's high.
The bar is
So-
extremely high.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like if we're grading everyone across the league on a same plane, then nobody's really getting an A. except for,
Barry,
like,
you look
talking
skeptical.
about?
four
Nobody's
players.
getting an A.
Steph
You look
Curry.
getting an
skeptical.
A.
All he's got to do is stay with his man, and he'd be an A. Just stay
All
with
he's
your
got to
man.
do is just stay with the NBA point guards. Pretty easy
Quit
task.
playing man-to-man. Quit playing zone defense when you're in a man-to-man.
He's not playing zone defense. He's playing that 4th grade
He's playing
soccer
box
defense.
and one. The other guy, he's playing one in a box. Everybody else is doing something, and he's doing something
No, it's
different.
not box and one's like you're
I
guarding
know
a
what a
man.
box and one is.
Please.
I should have let Barry have Russell
I was
Westbrook.
going to say, it sounds like Barry has an issue with the B+.
I'm saying he's
it's
playing
too
the
high.
4th grade soccer where he's just chasing the ball.
Can we
Well,
grade?
yeah, no kidding.
That's, but-
You're exactly right.
Can we give
That's
grades?
box and one.
Can we
No,
just all
box and
give
one
grades to
is-
the same guy? Can we all just give grades to the same guy?
Let's do Russell Westbrook.
We might have to
again.
do Russell
I can
Westbrook.
have
We
you
might.
have-
I don't know
you
what
might
you
have to
guys
give
are going to
Westbrook
grade.
I can have these debates about anyone. Who you going with?
You know what? I think I'll go ahead and go with Kevin Durant. I know, it's obvious, but so is pretty much everybody we're probably going to pick here. I think Durant he's borderline AB, and I was really trying to figure out what I want to go with. But I think defensively, if we're talking about how Westbrook's defense brings him down, I think Durant's been really good defensively, guys. And, he had the injury, and I think really just the time off is probably the one thing that is keeping me from saying for sure A for Kevin Durant. But coming back from a big injury from last year, we still see him able to take over games. And again, I'll go back to the defense. His defense has been really, really solid for this team. And, you can't always say that about those perimeter guys.
Yes, specifically in the small ball lineups. He can switch out on guys. He allows them to do stuff, and then he's been good in the post. We see him against Al Horford. When they played Memphis, Marcus Gasol, Zach Randolph. He's a pretty good defender.
All right, Provost, what do you say?
Oh, I'd give Durant an A. I think he sometimes gets bored, loses concentration on offense,
Weird.
not on
Yeah,
defense.
lately.
Just throwing the ball away for no good reason. But in all, he's played fantastic.
Well, and I'm giving him excused absences. It's not like he was playing hooky.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's true.
So the games he missed, plus the defensive effort, the best defense. Can we say this? This is the best defense we've seen Kevin Durant play since
Absolutely.
the Lakers series when he was challenged to guard Kobe Bryant, 2010.
Yeah, it's been good.
Fair?
Yeah.
Who you grading, Anthony? And what
The
do you give him?
bench, the entire bench, D+. And it wouldn't be that high, but Cameron Payne now plays on the bench, and he's a pretty good player. But, overall, remember coming in the season how deep this team is going to be, all these weapons they have off the bench. Ennis Kanter's making $17 million. He's coming off the bench. Deion Waiters is 23. He has all these skills. They're one of the worst benches of a contender, maybe if you go league-wide, that we've seen this season. In the plus-minus, the on-court, off-court shows that. And I also don't think Billy Donovan's used them quite correctly, especially early in the season. Playing them all together at sometimes, I think there should be some mixing and matching. But I think Cameron Payne does provide a little light, actually a lot of light from what we've seen. He's probably their best wing off the bench at this point. But overall, D in the first half.
Eric, I'll channel my inner Darnell Mayberry on this. Could they fix the bench grade? Could bring it up 2 letter grades if they would just play
Mitch McGary. And that's why I was going to give him a C on upside. I mean, you can write at the bottom of the report card room for improvement because you haven't really seen anything from Mitch McGary yet. I mean, he had his D-League stint where he volunteered to go down there and agreed with the team that he needed more time. So I think you could see in the second half kind of a similar rise to what Cameron Payne has experienced in the past few weeks in that he gradually got that time and all of a sudden he buried a guy. DJ Augustine got buried in these past few games by Cameron Payne because he played so well when he got that opportunity. You could see the same thing for a guy like Nick Collison. Now that is if Mitch McGary wants to play some defense.
Yeah. My problem with the bench, and you're right, but you're talking about Cam Payne and Mitch McGary, 2 young guys. Where are the veterans on this bench? Where, you mentioned Waiters. Where's Waiters? Where's Morrow? Where are these guys that you expect to be solid to potentially on some nights spectacular off the bench? Where are they in this whole equation? They've just really gotten 0 in terms of consistency from those guys. That's been strange to me.
Waiters, I think, has been the biggest issue.
It's a fundamentally flawed bench in that back when DJ Augustine was part of it, they had 3 guys that couldn't guard a statue with Cantor, with Augustine, with Anthony Morrow. Cam Payne's helped that a little. He's going to help it more because he's going to get better and better on defense. But when you've got Cantor and Morrow out there together, you're hard-pressed to stop anybody.
Yeah.
So even if they play well on offense, which they have from time to time, they're still getting outscored because they can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
I got an idea. Fix the bench by putting Robertson on the bench.
Where do you start?
Take your pick.
Morrow,
Your
Waiters.
defense gets better
here's the deal.
if Andre Robertson plays.
If they're going to have the bench the way they have, Anthony Morrow might need to start because if you'll notice, Morrow's not getting any shots even with the bench. Other teams are saying, somebody get on him and don't worry about anything else. Just glue defense. Just stay right on him.
Think about the game Durant missed recently. He had missed one game with his sprain toe. Morrow comes in with the starters with Westbrook. I think he had 19, 20 points, hit a bunch of shots. That is a potential option, but the problem is all their metrics and numbers show that they love their starting lineup
I'd
so
hate
much.
to mess with that because Robertson's working well with the starters.
The metrics, one metric I saw ranks that as the best lineup in the NBA.
Well, I mean,
I
the
sent
Warriors,
that to you guys. I
The
sent it to
Warriors'
you.
death lineup, I'd take against that because it's just what Robertson kind of takes away offensively. But
He scored 9 points in the first quarter last night. I'll have you know.
yeah, I probably could have got 9 or 10 against that Mavs lineup.
Easy. Here we go with this again. You got to keep your shirt on in the NBA. Barry, what's your grade?
Not after you get tossed.
Or you will take it off. You will get tossed.
JJ might have instigated some stuff.
Back to the grades.
Grades.
I'm going to go with Steven Adams and be Penelope positive. Steven Adams is an A. I think he's played fantastic. He's developed into a solid NBA center. He's a defensive guy, and his offense is getting better. I love how his demeanor. I love everything about Steven Adams.
Anthony's heart just skipped a beat.
He's making foul shots.
He is making
very
foul
foul
shots. I know that. That's why you gave him an A.
The offensive game is the thing with him that I thought it would evolve, but it's taken a dramatic jump. That's the thing. I thought we might see this kind of offense out of him in another year and a half. Here it is. He's just made such a big stride. It's really impressive.
He needs to shoot more, be more confident, be more aggressive. He goes 3 for 3 in the first quarter. He scores 8 points against, who was it? Minnesota, I believe, in the first quarter. Didn't take another shot, didn't score another point. I think he needs to trust himself and know the player he has become. I still think he kind of views himself as this rookie that's such a secondary piece to this whole thing. That's honestly my biggest issue because I agree. I mean, he's becoming a big-time two-way center. I just don't think he knows it.
You know, a guy that we didn't grade, unless you were going to grade him, is Serge Ibaka, which he's a guy that, when you talk about Adams' emergence, to me, Serge's offense has gone the opposite way. I don't know if he's regressed necessarily, but it just doesn't seem like the same Serge to me,
We
guys.
talked about that on the podcast today about some of the, I wouldn't say regression, but some of the maybe the fatigue that looks like Serge Ibaka is bringing with him when he plays. And it looks like he's kind of underwhelming in terms of the way he started the season. But what do you think about that, Anthony?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had a long discussion about this on the podcast today. I just think he's on the decline. And that's not, people get on Twitter like, what's up with Serge? Why doesn't he attack the glass? I just think some people age quicker, some people age at different points. This is a guy that's had a rough upbringing, he plays every summer in Spain. He's flying back to the Congo. He's playing 82 games, and he relies so heavily on his athleticism. I think his athleticism is declining. When's the last time you saw him go up, dunk, and do the air Congo thing? I just think he's a little declined.
Like this decline?
Yeah, exactly.
Not too though.
I mean, he still has great plays. He still has some stuff. But, if you look, his rebounding numbers are lower than they've been since his rookie year. His blocks are down
Friday
a
night,
full
he's
block.
going to dunk like 7 times.
He's
and air
being
Congo
out
every
rebounded
time.
by
Watch
Russell
this.
Westbrook.
Yeah.
Do you see when Russell Westbrook goes to the boards and looks at Serge like, this is my
Where are
rebound.
you?
Get
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Get out of my face. Russell Westbrook is taking rebounds away from Ibaka. I can't believe the decline part. If he just plays defense,
Yeah.
what else do they need? I can't believe nobody assigned a grade to young Bill Donovan.
That's all you. That's all you.
Take it, Sherm.
Well, listen, I think anything lower than a B is unfair, and anything higher than a B is inflated. I give him a good solid B. I think he's changing the culture of the team. I see the ball moving around a little bit more. I think there's that intractable problem of defense and effort. It was the same problem that the previous guy, Scott Brooks, was trying to get him to play better defense. As soon as Kendrick Perkins left the 405, as soon as he left the 405,
that was about 5 minutes later, and I thought his name was going to get brought
it's as simple as that. This team's defensive culture, disposition
Yeah, it's gone.
is gone.
Yeah.
And
It might have been teetering that way before Kendrick Perkins
it
left the
might have been.
405.
It might have
But it
been. But there was a
definitely is, yeah.
consequence if you did stuff like played boxing one, and so
Didn't get back.
or didn't get back, or the old trick that Perk used to do: step on the guy's foot so that he couldn't beat him down court. They need to be stepping on more people's feet.
I really think you're starting to see a comfort zone from Billy Donovan too, in some regard. I mean, he picked up that tech on the road this weekend. I mean, earlier this week, got on the books in the technicals. And last night, I mean, he was pretty open about defending the fact that Russell Westbrook didn't deserve that second technical. I think he's getting a little bit more vocal and outspoken in the media too, in regards to how he feels about certain things are going against the team.
Yeah, he even criticized Deion Waiters the other day. I mean, not like, oh, wow, crazy criticism, but he's like, he needs to focus more. He was like getting on him about not getting back. I was listening to it mid, quote, and I was like, Scott Brooks never would have said this.
Well, and Donovan, the other thing about him, though, there's a bunch of folks who watch this team play a lot who still wonder when he's going to sort of start bossing them around, start ordering, start demanding things from them. We do not see that, we're not behind closed doors, but it's clear that this team's defensive problems have not been fixed with Donovan's arrival. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, the only thing I haven't really liked the substitution patterns as much as I thought he was going to. I mean, we talked about earlier. They played like the third most all-bench unit, minutes in the league. We've talked about the staggering and the different stuff. I think he trusted Singler too long. There's something. Augustine probably played
Bulls
about
game.
a month longer than he should have. There's been some issues, but I mean, I guess we can expect that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think his willingness to adjust and try different things, while the substitution patterns are probably a little schizophrenic just now. I mean, I think that he is willing to try and see if some things work, give him a chance, and then adjust. So, and I think when guys prove themselves, he tends to respond, which is good. I mean, I think that is a sign. Hey, if you do, this level of expectation, you're going to get that chance. So, I mean, I've been impressed with just his willingness to adjust, to try different things, and to sort of be reactive to what he sees out there from his guys.
Has the hire been a success, Barry?
I would say it's not been a success, and there's really, unless they had the Warriors record, there's no way it was going to be a success at this time. However, I'm with you. I think the signs are positive. I do think things are changing. The offense is different. The defense isn't where anybody wants it to be, but I got to believe that he's pushing in that direction. DJ Augustine told me a month ago, maybe longer, he said the defense takes a lot longer than the offense. He said you can make the offense change pretty quick, but the defensive culture takes a long time to install. So that's why I'm reasonably optimistic that things will get better.
Let's play fill in the blank. Eric, the Thunder's first half of the season has been blank.
Slightly underwhelming. I think that we'd expect them to be 3 or 4 games better than they are right now. I think that the Thunder's success gets buried somewhat in the success that Golden State and San Antonio's gotten off to this early season, and they're just playing on another plane right now. But I'd be a little bit disappointed with what they've played, so far, particularly on the defense, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Jenny, finish your sentence.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably underwhelming is the word. If you hadn't used it, I'd probably go with. But at the same time, you know, while there haven't maybe been the results that everybody would want, there's still got to be at least a smidge of promise because you've had Durant hurt. You've had Donovan, you know, sort of figuring things out, adjusting, moving guys around. You know, so I think that while, you know, there's obviously some signs that you want to see these guys get fixed before the playoffs get too much closer. I mean, the fact that they're still, 28-12? Or
if they win tomorrow, they'll be on a 58-win pace halfway through.
I mean, yeah, you're right. We get skewed because of those other guys, but when you think about sort of all the things that they've played through to be on the cusp of, you know, being on a almost 60-win pace, there's some promise in that, guys.
Anthony, the Thunder's first half has been
Panicky. People both ways. I just feel like there's just been kind of panic after 2 losses, panic after 3 wins. Oh, they're back. It's been a little like roller coaster, and I just think the fans they already did it because they kind of have that college football mentality of 1 loss is like so big. But I just think it's been just magnified this season because of what the season means, the new coach and everything. It's just the reactions outside the Thunder. It's just been like
Manic.
Yeah, it's both ways. I mean, they'll win 3. Like they could win the next 3 games impressively, and people will like, oh, they figured it out. Here we go, bring on the Warriors, and it's just like, and then 2 straight bad performances, and it's like, who can we trade for? We got to trade.
Barry, how are you finishing that sentence?
I'm going to say the Thunder season has been overshadowed. Eric the Red hit it. This team is on a pace to win 57 games right now. That pace is going to go up probably in the next couple of games. I don't know, maybe one of us picked the Thunder to win in the 60s.
Darnell.
I was in the high 50s.
Yeah, I won't run around.
So, I think I said 58. So, I mean, they're playing on the level most people thought they would. But Golden State and San Antonio have been so dominant and so impressive that you look at them and you think, well, the Thunder can't get to that level this season. And that's when the panic sets in, and that's when the despair sets in. So the Thunder could get really good. They could win a ton of games in the last half. They could go to the Western Conference semifinals and play great, and they might not survive because there's 2 what appears to be historically great teams that they're competing with. So some of this is out of their hands. If you run into Sandy Koufax in 1965, let me tell you what, you're not going to score no matter how good of a hitter you are. The Thunder's got to hope that they get on a high level come playoff time and are able to match the Spurs and the Warriors, but even playing at a high level doesn't mean they can do it.
Anthony, Russell Westbrook's technical fouls are
Funny. I enjoy not even his technicals, even the ones he borders on technicals and doesn't get. We sit courtside. He's just fun to watch. Last night, people kind of made a bigger deal about the, he said recently, I'm done getting technicals, and then last night he gets 2. But the thing is, like, he says he's done arguing with the refs, which he's not really. He has toned it down. Even after the 2 last night, he's on pace to get 12, which is better. Last season, he almost.
That is an improvement.
In a lot. Remember, he missed like however many games, 20 games last year, and he still got 17, although 2 were rescinded. So he's been better. But there's no way. It doesn't matter how many times he's trying to cool himself. If J.J. Barea doing stuff, he can't contain himself.
Hold off on J.J.
Yeah, there's a difference between griping at a ref and then some sort of heat of the
Scuffle.
moment scuffle with an opponent. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to put that on Russell.
Yeah.
He needs to, he needs to control himself because he doesn't need to be getting kicked out of games. But that's different than arguing with
Yeah,
the refs.
and he especially needs to not argue with refs when the ball's still in play.
Well, that would help. Yeah.
If he gets called for a foul and he doesn't like the foul, okay, they have a pretty good rapport. Especially Westbrook's become such a respected veteran within the league that refs kind of give him a longer leash and they'll talk to him because he's a captain. But the ones that can't happen is when he's driving and he thinks he gets fouled and then the ball's going back the other way and he's, Danny, come on, Danny. And it's like, dude, how about you worry about Chris Paul, not Danny?
Yeah, get back.
And that was the instance last night. Westbrook's pledge back in December when he said the technicals, when he said he was cutting back on the technical stuff, was the arguing more so than cutting back on technical. He said he was going to quit arguing. He looked at some of the technicals he had in the past, in last season, and he said that he was going to cut back on the arguing because there's no use in doing it. And last night he didn't necessarily argue the calls that went against that he didn't argue any calls, but he got technicals as a result of the play, the shaking off J.J. Barea or some of the expletives he said after, like, get off me, man, get the bleep off of me. I mean, that's what caused the technical, not so much the arguing after the play. So I actually think he handled last night pretty well, considering.
He shouldn't have got tossed.
No, he
the
just
second one was like reactionary, but then at the same time he got tossed. It was like, okay, cool, we can see Payne more because they were up 25.
Yeah.
Not
He
last
walked
night.
straight
He
off.
just walked straight off
Yeah.
the court after he got tossed.
He was.
didn't
I
throw a
feel like
fit.
he was like, all right, cool. I probably needed
That's
some
what I
rest
asked you. I
anyway.
said, was he just looking for
He
an
just
early
kind
exit?
of walked off like, oh, I'm chilling.
Jenny, you got a word for Russell Westbrook's technical that hadn't been.
I can't. I don't know if I can concentrate after AC's Danny. That was his Russell Westbrook impersonation right there. That's pretty
guess.
good. I don't know. I think Russell Westbrook is. I think his technicals are always going to be a part of his game. I mean, he's a passionate, fiery player who, if he gets tangled up with somebody or somebody gets tangled up with him, he's gonna have. Technicals like we saw him have against the Mavericks. I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. I don't see him sort of toning down that fire. So I think it's still going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised to see the number continue to fall because I do think he's probably matured somewhat in terms of when he argues, how he argues, what he says. But as long as he's fiery, I don't see the technicals aren't going away.
Yeah, and one thing with him, if you look throughout his career, like. He's fiery, but he's not like psychotic. He's not Ron Artest going to throw a punch or go in the crowd. Or remember Hassan Whiteside last year? He got fouled hard and he like WWE'd Alex Len into the crowd. Like Russ, I don't think he's ever thrown a punch. Like
Except he's hit a chair a couple times.
he'll hit a chair, but like he doesn't do anything that's like suspension work.
In other words, what you seem to be saying, he's really under control.
In a sense, yeah, he knows his limit. I
Yeah.
think. Like he was never going to rear back and punch J.J. Barea last night. That was never going to happen. Because if he did, then he's not playing the next 3 games when he's needed.
Or 15.
Yeah.
There have been instances this year where we thought he was going to go off, and Anthony and I were sitting there courtside. We're like, oh, man, this is going to happen. And we'll just kind of see him just kind of control himself. And he might walk up to the ref and say something, but he's not. He doesn't go off or anything.
Yeah.
I think he's been actually under control this year.
Yeah, he's not Charlie Villanueva coming in last night. Wasn't in
I'll
the
choke
scuffle.
you. I'll choke you.
Then he
I'll
starts
choke you.
You get a chokehold and you get a chokehold.
So, I mean, just keep it under 16. Don't get tossed in a big game and get back on defense.
Who thought we'd say it? Russell Westbrook under control. His shot selection's gotten better. He doesn't seem to be barking as loudly at teammates, although you guys got better seats.
Still
than I
some
did.
subtle glances.
Still some subtle
Depends on the
Still some
day.
glances.
Sometimes
Not
he
so
comes
subtle,
out
too.
in a really good mood. Sometimes he comes out and catch the ball, Canner. Dunk it. He wants everyone on the team. Sometimes I just wish he had a better, I don't want to say understanding, but
Bedside
just
manner?
well, no, feel for like he gets like mad like, if Canner gets like a shot blocked
Yeah.
or something. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
he's not Steven Adams. Like he's
Right.
not just gonna raise up and dunk. Like you know that. Like you've played
You
with.
should know it.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Where does J.J. Barea, we're talking about last night's incident, 2 technical fouls. Barry, where does J.J. Barea rank on the list of most hated Thunder foes?
Well, he's always, even before last night, he was in the discussion. Now, he's not the king. Patrick Beverley remains the undisputed king. Ron Artest has fallen from the wayside because, who cares what happens to James Harden anymore?
Is there some
Yeah.
sympathy even?
yeah.
Like, he does flop a lot.
And also if like Ron Artest entered the game tomorrow at the peak, nobody's booing.
Right.
Everyone's
No.
like, oh, it's
But
Ron Artest.
Barea has always been a pesky, fly type of guy, so I'd say he's in the top 5. I mean,
Yeah, it's weird because like stuff people forget, and it's such a quick thing. Like Patrick Beverley will get booed forever, but he's the only one that I feel like is for sure getting booed if he enters tomorrow. The only way people get booed now beyond Patrick Beverley is like they do something in the game and then it happens. Like Barea wasn't getting booed last night. He got announced as starting lineup. Nobody reacted. Nobody was booing him, and then the thing with Westbrook
Patrick
happened.
Beverley's
and
in
then
a
he
whole
was getting
other.
booed.
He's in a whole other class when it comes.
But yeah,
to
he
that.
gets announced in the starting
and
lineup.
it comes down. Yeah.
That's
Who
never
else is on the list?
Because,
We've named Artest,
Matt Barnes?
Beverly, Matt Barnes.
yeah,
Matt
yeah.
Barnes?
Actually,
Yeah.
yes, you're right.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
who's number 2.
Yeah.
There was somebody with a Derek Fisher sign when he was here
big
last
Derek
week.
Fisher sign behind the
yeah,
basket.
that's
That was
right.
a little. I love how we talked about Ron Artest this entire time and never called him Meta World Peace once.
What's your name for him, Barry?
And his friend.
I'm at a world chaos.
I like his third name, but he went over to play overseas in China, and he renamed himself the Panda's Friend.
Yeah.
And he had little panda bears on his shoes.
Sounds like a backpack for third graders.
Yeah, no, I mean, here's the deal. When we talk about Barea or Patrick Beverly or Russell Westbrook or sort of fiery players, those are guys that are just emotional. Ron Artest is not emotional. He's clinical.
Yeah, and
He's
he knows
clinical,
it. Like
yeah.
he's in a pretty good place now.
Yeah.
If you like talk to him or you're around him, like
I love talking
he's
to the
calm.
guy.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
he's great.
I actually was
He's
hoping.
like an advocate for it now.
I was actually hoping last night that maybe that Barea Westbrook thing would go back into the back hallway like our friends Perk and Zebo did that
Zebo.
one night.
Zebo's another good name.
Zebo
Zebo's
needs to be
another
on that
one.
list. That's
He
right.
took a
Yeah.
swing at my friend Steven Adams.
Daryl
Yeah,
I
never.
don't think he's hated though.
He's not gonna. Again, he's not gonna be booed. But
He's
if we're
sort of
talking top
in a way,
five,
he's a little bit lovable.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
a little bit lovable.
I got one more question for you. Darnell Mayberry's been working on this. He's researching. He's doing some investigating, as an old friend of ours once said, about guys who get their career highs on the Thunder. Is it just me, or does every Tom, Dick, and Jody Meeks come into the arena and score a career high on the Thunder? What's that face about, Eric?
No, I'm laughing.
Makes you wonder what Juwan Evans could do to the Thunder defense. For crying out loud. No, it's amazing. You know, Damian Lillard's an all-star, and he lights up a lot of people. But that was impressive, those last 3 minutes. But Lou Williams and a string of guys before him.
The Sixers had some dudes last year that did it.
Well, I mean, every game the Sixers play, like 2 guys are going to get career highs, and then they're going to
Somebody's
get 2
gotta
more in
score
that
the
have never
points.
played a game.
That's right. The string of guys, by the way, I've been watching Darnell do this investigating, and he's got this
He's going
list.
on a sabbatical to finish
Very
it.
That's right.
long list.
He's got this list, and he keeps compiling it today. He showed me the list. It's off the charts long. He's got it on one of those sort of half-size pads, and he's done like multiple. It's crazy. I don't know what his total number is going to be, but it's got to be at least 50, 60, 70. I don't know.
One thing you got to remember is however many players are in the NBA, they all have a career high against somebody.
Sure.
And you know what I mean? Like, we watch the Thunder a lot more than we watch other teams. Like, things like this happen to other teams. It does seem like, wow, it happens a lot to the Thunder, but like I said, everyone's got a career high. So I mean, every team probably has at least 30.
It happened last night. Guy got his career high last night.
Salah.
The guy from Tunisia.
Yeah.
Say his name.
I can't.
I don't want to.
won't.
Yeah, I'm not even. I can
the
say
thing-
Giannis Antetokounmpo better than I can say that.
Nicely done.
The thing that gets me about the list, though, that Darnell's compiling is like you look at guys like Gerald Green or Jody Meeks, guys that have these career highs that aren't, like 17 or 20. It's like 35, 40. I mean, you're just like, wow. And they had nothing close to that before, and in a lot of cases, not after. That's, to me, the interesting thing about the
It's
list.
the type of guys. Yeah, it's not just that it's guys that get in their career highs. It's the type of guys, and that's the interesting part. Like you said, I touched on this in a piece that I did last week for the Oklahoman. But of the 16 guys who scored the highest game, had the highest scoring games against the Thunder in history, 8 of those guys have career highs. And only one of those guys is an all-star. It's Kevin Love. He's got the most ever against the Thunder, 51. So the rest of those guys are just not
Guys.
obscure names, but not all-stars. The Jody Meekses.
I got a theory. What if it's one of those deals where they did the scouting report, and every time you look back and go, oh, I left that guy off the scouting report.
might be-
Ran out of space.
Yeah.
Well, the Blazers left C.J. McCollum off the lineup card the other night. Anything's possible.
Lou
Or this-
Williams.
Or this,
I forgot.
or another thing, if the Thunder are doing a good job on the stars of the league, maybe something falls in the cracks and they let a Lou Williams go off. They let Jody Meeks get his when there's another guy next to him that's the primary assignment, the guy that they should be locking up. You've got some Harden sprinkled in there and some Kevin Loves, but maybe they're doing a good job on those guys more often than not, and they're letting Isaiah Canaan get his.
I'll be looking forward to reading what Darnell Mayberry comes back. I'll be looking forward to reading what these folks got cooked up for you. That's all for this edition of Thunder Thursday, but you can stay with the best coverage team anywhere, every day at News OK, and every morning in the Oklahoman.